everybody. Thanks for joining me. It's Jamie from Play to Learn Preschool. I have a little bit of a frog in my throat. I apologize for that. Thanks for joining me. We have a snow day here in Virginia. So if you watched my video yesterday, I said we were expecting like a foot of snow, and we end up getting like two inches or something like that, 2 or 3 inches. So I think it's just one day. I don't think we're surely gonna get the whole week off like I was anticipating with a foot of snow. But it's been nice to kind of have a day to catch up. My whole family's home. I've made them promise to stay upstairs and not come down and bother me for a couple of minutes, so fingers crossed that they cooperate. I thought today that we could talk about rhyming. We make a big push for rhyming in the spring. But of course we work on it all year long with finger plays and songs and books and all kinds of other activities with their names and just silly things that we say, little rhymes and songs that we make up during the day. But for thinking about our pre-K students, so here in the US, it's ages 4 and 5. They have to be 5 in the fall to go to kindergarten, so it's this spring before they start kindergarten. If we think about all of the things that they have to learn in terms of literacy development, they need to figure out what the names of the letters are, what sounds they make, what the first sound of the words are, all of these other phonological skills about hearing the syllables in the words and the rhyming and all of these other things. We always wait until the spring. I know people do it differently, but we always wait until the spring to do a big push for rhyming for this reason. Because in the fall, we really focus hard on beginning sounds. What's the first sound of each word? Can we sort by the beginning sound? If I say a word, can you hear the first letter? What's the first letter of your name? What sound does it make? And so we're listening to all of these, first sounds, beginning sounds. What's the first letter? All of these things at the beginning of the year. And rhyming is exactly the opposite. In English, rhyming means that you listen to the end of the word, that last chunk, that last rhyme. The onset is the first sound, and then the rhyme is that second part of the word. Does it rhyme with at, hat, cat, fat? They have to turn their brain on the other direction and really start listening for the end of the word, that ending chunk. And if you've been practicing beginning sounds, that's a little tricky. It's even harder if you try to do it all at the same time. Monday we're doing beginning sounds, Tuesday we're doing rhyming, Wednesday we're doing beginning sounds, Thursday we're doing rhyming. They'll be like, I can't, especially the kids who struggle, that's going to be really hard for them. So we try to work all fall, winter on beginning sounds and letter sounds, really push it with their names, like I said, with their folder games and with all these other things. And then in the spring, I tell them we're going to have to turn our brains on a different station. We're going to switch gears and start listening for the end of the word. Because rhyming words, we have to listen to all the words that have the same ending. That's a little bit tricky. I like to do it in March just for silly teacher reasons because of Dr. Seuss's birthday. So there's a lot of Dr. Seuss rhyming. And our theme in March this year is nursery rhymes. And so of course Mother Goose has lots of rhyming words, and nursery rhymes and reading rhyming books. Those are all really great ways to introduce this idea of rhyming. Plus, I find that most of my students, because they've just turned 5 or they're going to be turning 5 in the next couple of weeks, they're getting close, they're ready to start listening for that rhyme. There's a lot of research about rhyming. Hi, you guys. Thanks for joining me. There's a lot of research about rhyming that shows that kids who can rhyme, and rhyming is very much an English language thing, but kids who can rhyme in English, they read much quicker and easier than kids who can't rhyme. Because if you can start to hear those word families, those chunks of words, that go together, it falls into place. You can start to pick out those chunks when you're reading, and reading is just a lot easier. There's also some research that shows that one of the red flags for reading disabilities is the inability to rhyme early on. And so it's a really important skill. I always tell parents it's like a light switch though with rhyming. So they can do it, and they're like, this is easy, I hear it, I can do it, 100% of the time, or they cannot. There's really not a ton of gray area in the middle between being able to rhyme and not being able to rhyme. It's like a light switch. As soon as they get it, they're good. And when they haven't gotten it, they just need a lot of experience, lots of exposure, reading lots of books. I'll share later this week some of our favorite rhyming books, just lots of experience with rhyming. And then as soon as it clicks, that light switch goes on, the light bulb goes off, and they go, oh, okay, I know exactly how to rhyme. So, hi everybody. Yes, the weather here, we were expecting a foot. We got about 2, maybe 3 inches. I didn't go out in it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been inside all day. My husband did all the shoveling. My kids are all outside playing. I hope you can't hear them. They're kind of in the backyard. But it's just a couple of inches. I think we'll be back tomorrow. So anyway, I wanted to share 4 rhyming activities with you. And hopefully there are some that you can use with your own students. Now, the camera is doing a funny thing. Facebook. Okay, so I used to have these square, like pictures on, the screen would be just a nice square. And then in November, when we were in Los Angeles for that conference, it switched to vertical. It drove me crazy. I couldn't figure out how to get it back to square. So then I started doing these Facebook Lives on my iPad, which does square. Until yesterday, when I rewatched it, it was that skinny vertical. You could see like it was craziness, right? So anyway, so I updated my Facebook app, and I'm on my iPad again, but now it gives me the option to switch back and forth. So look, the letters are all the right direction, and you probably think I'm like doing my hair the other way, but I'm not, because the Facebook let me switch the camera, which is kind of throwing me for a loop because I'm used to seeing everything like a mirror. Facebook, stop making changes. You're driving me crazy. Anyway, I thought this would be good so that you could see the words facing the right direction. Anyway, okay, so here we go. We've been working on a rhyme too. Taylor, I agree with you. When they get it, they mostly get it. So most of my kids, they can, they'll figure it out, and then you're like, oh, they're all rhyming, super. And you don't really have to like reteach it, because it really is like a light switch for most students. They get it and they're like, oh, easy enough. Why didn't you tell me that before, Okay, so I wanted to share, I think I pulled out 4 activities with you that we do during the month of March for rhyming. Yes, the felt board story behind me is The Cat and the Fiddle. We're doing all nursery rhymes this month. I'm going to share later this week or maybe into next week some of the different nursery rhyme circle times that we're doing and some of the different centers. Today we're doing rhyming, so here goes. This is one that I'm actually prepping for my own students for next week. I just finished it. It is, these are rhyming puzzles, and I just loaded them up to my TPT store, but this is a really good way to start practicing rhyming, because students, even if they can't rhyme, they can still do the center because the colors match and the shapes match like a puzzle piece. But then once they get them together, we'll sit with them and say, oh look, let's say the rhyming pair, ant, plant, super. Here's another one. We can put them together, and then let's say the rhyming pair, bed, red. Those words rhyme because the ending sound is the same, ed. Bed, red, ed. Can you hear at the end of the word? And so I've got these Easter egg puzzles ready to go for a literacy center. The file that I uploaded has 24 puzzles. 12 of them have 2 pieces like this, and then 12 of them have 3 pieces. See, I'm all backwards now. I don't know which way to go. Facebook is throwing me for a loop. Have 3 pieces like this. And I've just been prepping them today. But the easiest way to make these puzzles is to buy craft foam from your craft store, and they sell it plain or they sell it adhesive. It's like a big sticker sheet. And so all you have to do, you don't have to run it through the Xyron or anything. As much as I love my Xyron, this saves time. You just peel the back off of the foam piece and stick this down. I don't know if I can do that holding it up. Hold on one second. Like this. And so then the paper is stuck to the foam sheet, and you can just cut them out. I'm going backwards. I can't figure it out. And then you just cut them out. And the foam makes a nice thick puzzle piece for them, so that the pieces fit together really nicely. Now, if you can't print with colored ink, the 24 puzzles, I also uploaded them with just a black line image, and just run those through, print them on colored paper, like pastel colored paper, and you'll be totally fine. So I love these rhyming puzzles. I think they'll be a really good way to introduce it, even to my younger preschool students, because if they're not paying attention to the rhyme, they can still work on the puzzles, right? Okay, so that's definitely the easiest center that I have set up to practice with them. And then another one that I like to do is during circle time, I play this show and tell game with them. And I bring out some bags and I tell them inside my bag there are 2 objects. I'm gonna pull out one of them and I'm gonna give you a clue about the other one. So the first object is a shoe. Now, the clue is the other object rhymes with shoe. What do you think is in my bag? And then the kids will start yelling out, is it blue? Is it 2? And that's a really good assessment, right, for your group, because you can very quickly and very easily figure out which kids are making good guesses. You know, it rhymes with shoe. And which kids are like, is it a dog? Is it a clock? You know, is it a pencil? And then you have to just make a mental note or, you know, take a little note like, nope, not yet. The switch is not on for that student yet. And so then somebody will yell out, you know, is it a 2? Is it a shoe? Is it blue? Is it, oh, it's glue. I'm like, you're right. Shoe and glue. And I'll go through a bunch of these. I'll have a bag with a block and a sock and another bag with a tree and a bee, you know, and we'll just practice it a couple of times. And then that afternoon, when they're getting ready to leave at the end of the day, I will give them a lunch sack. And on the front of the lunch sack has a little homework assignment for them. We don't really do homework in preschool, but you know. And it's just this silly little poem that I wrote. It says, Mother Goose loves to rhyme. She rhymes her words all the time. Put 2 rhyming things in the sack and don't forget to bring it back. In class, you'll pull out thing number 1. Your friends will guess the rhyming fun. And so then they have to go home and find 2 rhyming things at their house. And they bring them back. They can take this paper off. And then they bring back their bag, you know, and I'll give them a chance to sit in my red rocking chair. And the same thing, pull out 1 object from your bag and then tell the other kids, you know, that the second object rhymes. See if they can guess what else is in your bag. I've had kids be really creative with this over the years. I had kids bring like a bag of rice and some dice. I've had kids bring a flag and another bag inside this bag. Lots of caps and hats, bears and chairs, dogs and frogs. I've had stars and cars. You know, they can really go home and look around their toy box and little, you know, the little toys that they have. It has to fit in the bag, I always say, and bring in 2 things. So this, I uploaded it to the Google Drive. There's a link. I don't know if it's in up top, left, right. I don't know. But if you click on the link in the video description, you can just print that off if you want to do this little show and tell rhyming bag activity with your kids. The third activity that I'll probably do only with my pre-K kids, not with my younger kids, because I think it'll be a little bit too hard, are these rhyming clip cards. And I love clip cards for a lot of reasons. I'm always trying to find centers, you know, that have multiple objectives. And this one is obviously a rhyming activity, but it's also a fine motor activity. So I love it when that happens. And what they have to do is read the big word, which is whale, and then find the word that rhymes. Whale truck, whale snail, or whale fish. Which one rhymes? And then I put a basket of clothespins. These are the little mini ones, but you could just use regular clothespins. And they clip on the word that rhymes with whale. So it's whale, snail. And I like to make this center self-checking so that when they're done with it, they can check their own. I don't need to go around and check it for them. So on the back of the card, I put a little sticker. If the clothespin is in the right spot, then they say, oh, I got it right, whale, snail. Here's another example. This is a plane. Does it rhyme plane clock, plane train, or plane crown? And just clip it on. It's plane train. Let's see if we're right. Yep, that was a good one. There's a whole set of them. This is a frog. Does it rhyme frog dog, frog blocks, or frog slide? Well, frog has the og sound, so it rhymes with dog. Frog, I'm all backwards. Frog dog, and then they just check it on the back that it matches. So these are in the set of my first rhyming games. I don't know how many there are, maybe like 24 cards or so. And then it also comes with these folder games. I'm having a hard time here. I don't know if I like it backwards or forwards, but the words are correct. Okay. And this is for the kids who already know how to rhyme. This is not a good activity for kids who the light switch is not on for them yet. This is good practice for those kids that the switch is on. The light bulb is on and they've got it. Because if they don't have it, this is going to be too hard. So just like all of my folder games, it's got a cover, and then it's got these work mats on on the inside, and on the back I just ran an envelope through my Xyron through the permanent adhesive, and I put the pieces. They lay this down. I've talked about folder games in a couple of other videos, but this is what they do when they first arrive in my classroom, my pre-K students, not the little ones, the kids who are going to start kindergarten like in 4 or 5 months. This is what they do when they arrive. I have one sitting at their spot on the carpet, but if you were at the tables or whatever, you would put it at a table. And I pick out the folder for each kid that I think is exactly right for them. I only have one of these. So people have asked, like, do you have a whole class set? No, no, I don't. And they lay it down, and then they just pick the card, snow, and they have to find the word that rhymes. So snow bow. And they just place it on there. And then very quickly, Gemma and I go around on the carpet and just kind of do like a spot check to see if they've got it. I don't think, none of these have a checklist on the back because I haven't used them yet because my students aren't quite ready. But I'll just put a student checklist, and then we just check off. You know, you did it, plus or minus, or need another chance. And so it's a quick 5-minute, maybe 7-minute activity in the morning when they're arriving. My First Rhyming Games, which has these clip cards, also has 5 of these folder games. This Rain, Rain, Go Away, I Scream, You Scream, We All Scream for Ice Cream. There's 5 of them. Say Cheese. One of them is a freebie. Oh my goodness, you guys. And so if you'd like to just try it and see if it will work with your students or with your child at home, this Tisket Tasket, Which Egg Goes in the Basket, is a free download. I left a link in the video description already, so you can just click on it and then print it out. It's 4 pages, I think. It's got this cover image that you could put on the front of the folder. It has these Easter baskets that have different rhyming words, and then it has a bunch of pieces that they just rhyme. So heart, cart, and they just set it right on top, you know, down on the floor. 5, hive. If this is too much, these 12 pictures are too much for your students, sometimes what I'll do for the ones that they're close but they need a little bit of support, I will make a little pile next to the row that they're in. So like these 3, I will put the pictures right here next to the row. And then like for this top one, I will put those pictures like right there on the floor with them. So they've got a little pile of 3 pictures, 3, 3, and 3. And that will help them at least just pick up 1 row at a time. So for your students who like 12 is too much for them, then I just support them by putting the 3 already in the row. I kind of sort them out for them. And that's a good way to sort of help them out, you know, to make them feel really confident if they're not sure. So rhyming, like I said, we do a lot with songs and finger plays and books and just silly, you know, silly rhymes during the day. But then when it's in the spring, I really try to make a big push to make sure that all of my preschool students, my pre-K students, are rhyming, that light switch is on for them. And those are some of the activities that I do with them. In this set, I don't remember how much it is, $5. It's 5 folder games. Maybe it's, I don't know. Oh, I didn't check before I came on. All of these clip cards. It also has a rhyming bingo game that I forgot to pull out. And there's some drawing. And there's a version of this show and tell for Dr. Seuss. So if you're doing like a Dr. Seuss theme, you could print the rhyming show and tell directions for that. So those are my ideas for rhyming. Thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate that my family didn't run down here and photobomb me in the back. And hopefully, Gemma will be here tomorrow. Our students will be here tomorrow. And we'll catch you again. We're looking forward to sharing, like I said, some of our favorite rhyming books. And we'll also do... I cannot do this backwards. Look, I'm so used to it. We'll also talk about some ideas for a nursery rhyme theme with circle time ideas and some other centers. I hope you have or had a great day playing and learning with your kids, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.